Let's learn how to do problems that involve vertical angles. So vertical angles are angles that are formed when you have two intersecting lines. They're the angle pairs that are opposite of each other. So the two angles that I have in blue, A and B, those are vertical angles. The two angles I have in green, C and D, those are also vertical angles. So they are opposite pairs when two lines intersect, all right? The important thing about vertical angles is that they are equal to each other. So the measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle B. So if I know that A is 80 degrees, then I know automatically that B is also 80 degrees. And the measure of angle C is equal to the measure of angle D. So if I knew that C was 100, I could say that D is also 100. Now, sometimes there's multiple intersecting lines and it makes it a little hard to see which angles are your vertical angles. So I'm going to show you a really easy way to figure it out. So let's say I wanted to figure out which angle was vertical to angle A. And I didn't know if it was D or E. It's one of these that looks close. I'm going to take the first ray that makes up A, right? That's one side of angle A. But instead of stopping there, I'm just going to continue down. So I'm going to take this all the way down, all right? And then the other side of angle A, the other ray that makes up angle A is right here. And I'm going to go ahead and extend that as well, all right? And so if I extend it, what that easily helps me do, you see my two blue lines, is helps me find the angle on the other side that's formed by those same two lines, and that is angle D. So angle A and angle D are going to be vertical angles and therefore equivalent in measure. All right, let's get to a problem. So let's say we're asked to find the value of X. When you're given an angle relationship problem, you have to look at it and determine what kind of relationship do you have. Is there a 90-degree angle? Am I dealing with complementary angles? Is there a straight line that's broken up into angles? Am I dealing with supplementary angles? Or is it what we have here, which is two angles that are opposite each other and created by two intersecting lines, right? So this vertical line down the middle, I just put that there to try to distract you. But if you notice, like what we did in the last problem, if you extend the rays that this angle is made of, we'll get the 62-degree angle. So these are vertical angles. Now, because they're vertical angles, I know that they're equal in measure. So what I'm able to set up is an equation that shows me that 62 is equal to 11x plus 7. Once you've got that part down, you're 70% of the way through, as long as you know how to solve equations. So once we've established that these are vertical angles are equal, therefore I can write an equation showing me one of the angles is equal to the other. Now I just have to solve a two-step equation. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 7 on both sides. So that's going to give me 55 equals 11x. I want that x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 11 on both sides, and that's going to give me x is equal to 5. And that answers my question. All right, here's another example. I'm given some information on the side this time instead of directly in the diagram, just to change it up a little bit. So I'm dealing with angle QRS. So QRS is right here. I'm going to label it in my picture so it's a little clearer to me what I'm dealing with. And angle TRV, so TRV. All right, so once I label these, I realize that what I'm given is vertical angles, right? They're angles that are opposite of each other, formed by two intersecting lines. I'm given expressions that represent each of those angles, and then I'm asked to find one of them, right? And actually, if I find one, I found the other because they're equal, right? So now I start to set up my equation. If I know that these two angles are equal to each other, then that means I could set their expressions equal to each other to make an equation. So I know that 5x plus 10 is equivalent to 10x minus 50. All right, so now when you're solving an equation that has variables on both sides, we have to use inverse operations to get it to one side. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides, and that's going to give me 10 is equal to 5x minus 50. All right, now I have a two-step equation. I'm going to add 50 to both sides. I'm going to bring my work up here. Actually, let me just erase this. 60 equals 5x, so I have a one-step equation left to solve. I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides, and that's going to give me x equals 12. So I found the value of x, but in this particular problem, that doesn't mean I'm done because this problem didn't ask me for x. This problem asked me to find the measure of this angle right here. So that angle was represented by 10x minus 50. So now that I know the value of x, now I can replace x with 12 and then evaluate this expression. So 12 times 10 is 120. 120 minus 50 is 70. So that means that the measure of the angle that I was asked to find is 70 degrees. All right, here's your practice problem. Go ahead and give it a try. When you think you've got the answer, scroll to the bottom of the video description. The answer is there. So see if you got it right. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment.